You are in the right place if you think detangling curly hair is a chore. It is, but it is absolutely necessary. Trust me, I can tell you many different things that I'd rather do than detangle hair, but here we are. So let's take down this hair and go through the process. And don't worry, I'm going to break it down in 4 easy steps that you can follow and take out some of the anxiety. Not only will it be easy, but it'll be faster because you'll feel more organized. Step 1. The first thing you want to do is to allow the hair to fall where it wants to be naturally. Curly hair likes to clump together, so let it. But if you look closely enough, you'll also see openings or pockets where you can put your fingers and start to separate the clumps into smaller sections. And you do this gently. Notice I didn't put anything in the hair yet. This is just me separating the clumps of hair into smaller pieces and breaking it up into sections and separating it with a pin. And before you even say it, yes, this is especially true with looser curls, but I use this same technique for a variety of curls when I'm in the salon suite. Using these gentle motions to break up the hair at first allows me to also really see what's going on. If you want to, I would suggest to take some hair oil and rub it on your hands before touching your hair, your child's hair, your client's hair, or whatever. But again, this is literally just for you to start the detangling process without adding any extra product and without making it over complicated. Trust me, by doing this, you're going to take out some of the anxiety of looking at the head as one big clump of hair. Does that make sense? Cool. So as you can see here for this client, I am able to separate her hair into 6 sections without using a comb, without hurting her head. Her head is actually barely moving if you're paying attention. And now I feel a lot more organized with these 6 sections to move on to step 2. Step 2 is where you're going to need tools. It is all about moisture. And as we know, moisture is water, but we're going to layer it in a few seconds that you'll see. The first few sprays of water is just to get the hair damp. Then I grab my go-to detangling product. Let me tell you, this product works wonders for detangling and softening the hair. It is my absolute hands down favorite product. I want you to notice that every time I use something in her hair, whether it's water or the detangling product, I am pulling the tangles downward in a motion that will make the actual detangling process easier. And this takes us right into step 3, which is the actual detangling. But before I get into that, I just want to say never, ever, ever take a brush from root to tip in any type of curly hair. Loose curls, tight curls, doesn't matter. Please stop doing this. Anybody home? Good. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and put your alerts on so you don't miss a thing. Think of the detangling process as going up a ladder or steps, whatever makes more sense to you. Always start at the bottom and do not move up to the next step until the section you are working on below it is fully detangled. Then and only then do you move upwards and brush the entire section together. Make sense? Moving up little by little in small sections definitely takes time and patience depending on how tangled the hair is, but eventually you should be able to brush the entire section smoothly from root to tip. The next thing I do is create a nice loose twist and pin it right back up and clip it with the same clip that was holding it before. Now that that first section is done, I'm able to move on to the next section. This is me going through the process again, dampening the hair first, spreading the water throughout the section, spreading the water throughout the hair in a downward motion just to get it nice and moisturized. Then do a little gentle detangling with my fingers without the tool because the middle of the head is always a lot more tangled than the rest, which by the way is normal. Then grabbing the detangling, softening agent, whatever you use is up to you. I just happen to love Mizani 25 Miracle Milk. And the reason why I don't dampen the hair fully with the product is because it's just a misuse of product. The base of most products should be water. And so by using water, I'm just starting the process without using an excessive amount of product and spreading the product more evenly, and it still gets the job done. Just a quick note to any moms out there that are trying to figure out how to detangle their child's hair. Feel free to add more water or more product as needed. My client just happens to have a looser curl where her hair is not severely tangled, but if you feel you need to use more water or more product, Keep adding it, keep mixing it, and keep being patient. Also, here's a quick note about the tension of my hands where I'm holding the hair. Always hold the hair directly above the section you are working on. You do not have to pull and tug the client's hair excessively to get the job done. Most of the tension in my hand is directly in my thumb and index finger so that I am not pulling from the root when I am brushing in the step-by-step process. Again, notice her head is barely moving and I am still able to detangle her hair effectively. Now that one full side is done, I literally copy and paste that same exact process to the opposite side of the head. This entire process takes me less than 10 minutes. Again, sometimes if the client's hair is more tangled or a different curl type or severely dry, I have to add more water or even sometimes make more sections, which actually is a hack. The more tangled the person's hair is, the more sections you might have to make. The more hair the person has, the more sections you may have to make. So again, when you're home watching, don't look at this and say, well, you only made 6 sections, so I tried 6 sections. This didn't work. I'm stressed out. The point is, when you look at the person in front of you, you decide how many clumps of hair you'll need to make based on what's happening in the client's head. It is a case by case situation. Sometimes I make 6 sections, sometimes I make 4 sections, and there are definitely times I have made 9 sections. Go back to step 1, see where the hair wants to land, and then begin the process. Hope that makes sense. By now, you see my process. You see I'm repeating it. So you should be able to say to yourself exactly what my next steps are. So first, I'm doing what? Cool. Then I'm going to do what? Okay. And now I'm going to do what? Where's my tension? And now, boom, smooth sailing. You got it. I know you got it. The only thing left to do now is clip it away. The final step is to blow dry, and this is where you reap the benefits of all that prep work. Her hair was obviously already dry in the video, but I still took down the section to show you that I use the same technique to blow dry that I use to detangle. I blow dry starting at the ends and then move up the hair shaft. Okay, I actually went and grabbed my mannequin to re-record the process for you. So this is what that looked like really quickly. Sidebar, I was doing this video tutorial while I was at work. As some of you may know, I am on tour with Madonna, and I brought my mannequin to work just to make videos for you and show you how to get a proper blow dry from a great detangling. So if you see things in the background, just ignore it. If I forgot to already say it, but this is obviously step 4. Step 4 is go through your normal blow dry process, whatever that is. Now, some people actually like to leave their hair in the twists and let it air dry. I choose to blow dry my client's hair depending on what service they get. And so much like the detangling process, I begin the blow dry process from the ends and I inch my way up throughout the mannequin head. Now this angle I realized was not great, and so I eventually adjusted. Give me 1 second. Let me get to that part of the video. Oh, wait. Actually, this is a better angle, but I just remembered that I did this to also show you this hack. So remember when I said sometimes your client may have curlier hair or tighter coils and kinks, and you might have to do more sections? Well, this is also another way to blow dry the hair. Now, I did not have the nozzle attached, but what I am doing is stretching the hair before I blow dry it. This also can reduce heat damage because the hair is getting indirect heat and my hands are behaving as a tool to stretch the curls. This is a great technique to use if your client has extremely curly hair or tight curls and you don't want to use constant direct heat. All you're going to do is pass the blow dryer along each quote unquote side of the section of hair you're working on. So if you pretend that there's a top, 2 sides, and a bottom area, you will just take the blow dryer and blow it downwards with the nozzle, right? You have to use your imagination because remember I said I did not have the nozzle attached, but I still wanted to make the point. You have to go along each side in a downward motion to make sure the cuticle layer, which is the outermost layer of the hair, stays flat. If you go up and down, it creates frizziness. Okay? I hope that makes sense as well. I would say once the majority of the hair is dry using that technique, then you put the comb attachment on and do a typical basic blow dry from root to tip. See, I hope you learned something because a lot of people worry about heat damage. And unless you're going to sit under a hooded dryer and get indirect heat, this is one other way that you can use the blow dryer in a non-damaging way and still have a great detangling / blow dry process. Once the section is all dry, you can do this next final step, which is completely optional, but I love to use Honey Mimosa by Carol's Daughter because it smells good and it's extremely lightweight. And I just put a little dab on my fingers, rub it in my hands, and then use that to twist the dry section of hair and pin it up. And that is what leads me to this final end result, which brings us full circle back to Sierra. And this is the end result. I hope you learned something. Let me know in the comments.